Hello, it's 4 News O'Clock on All News Nigeria. I am Opeyemi Olugbemi here at the headlines for today. Joe Biden speaks on United States debt ceiling. Protesters throws cake at VOLKSWAGEN chairman. Now the news. United States President Joe Biden on Wednesday piled pressure on Republican lawmakers to move quickly in order to raise the country's $31.4 trillion debt ceiling, or risk throwing the United States economy into a recession that will kill thousands of jobs. Biden made its case in the congressional districts that Republicans won by a narrow margin in November as his aides and staff of congressional leaders met in Washington in a desperate search for common group ahead of a June 1 deadline. The Treasury Department says the government will be unable to pay its bills as early as June 1. Republicans are vowing to support raising the debt ceiling only if Biden agrees to retroactive reductions in government spending. Biden wants the debt ceiling lifted without spending cuts attached, but said he wants to negotiate the next budget.
Here's what the Speaker has put forward for the Republican proposal. He says he's going to take the funding, how we fund government, back to what the levels were in 2022, before the omnibus bill. And they exclude any cuts in defense. He said we're going to go back to spending we spent in 2022, but we're not going to make any cuts in defense, which we spent in 2023. We're calling for in 2023. It makes huge cuts in important programs for millions of working and middle-class Americans, programs they count on. According to estimates, the Republican bill would put 21 million people at risk of losing Medicaid, including 2.3 million people here in New York State and 78,000 people right here in Westchester County. It's devastating. It's not right. The Republican plan would cut federal law enforcement officers, 30,000, including 11,000 FBI agents, 2,000 border agents, DEA agents, and so on.
Biden warned that the post-pandemic economy would be destroyed by a government default, and he listed programs that would be slashed if Republicans get their way, like suicide prevention for veterans. Joe Biden spoke a day after he met with top Republican and Democratic lawyers for the first time in 3 months to try to move forward on the debt ceiling and avoid a historic default.
Speaker McCarthy refused, absolutely refused, to take default off the table.
The White House has dubbed the Republican budget cutting proposal the Default on America Act. White House aides are meeting with congressional leaders' staff in Washington daily before Biden and the leaders meet again on Friday. In other news, the weirdest thing happened during an annual VOLKSWAGEN stakeholders meeting held on Wednesday when protesters threw an object, or what appears to be a cake, at VOLKSWAGEN chairman Hans-Dieter Pötsch.
An der Transaktion mitgewirkt haben.
Pötsch managed to duck in time to avoid being eaten by what appears to be a cake. About 10 activists, including one topless woman with dirty money painted on her back, also interrupted Chief Executive Oliver Bloom's speech, shouting that the car makers' vehicles were built with forced labor and waving banners that read "End Uyghur Forced Labor at VOLKSWAGEN." The activists were protesting at the car makers' controversial plant in China's northwestern Zhejiang region, reflecting similar investor concerns over claims of human rights abuses in the region. They were rapidly escorted out by security staff. China's Communist Party is accused of detaining over 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities in the far western region as part of a years-long crackdown, as well as running labor camps. China vehemently denies the abuse allegations, while VOLKSWAGEN has also rejected suggestions forced labor is used in its factories. Among shareholders, some lamented VOLKSWAGEN's poor stock market performance despite record profit margins and a drop in sales. In China, a key market for the group, where it is facing increasingly stiff competition from local car manufacturers. And that's it on today's news. For more updates, kindly follow us on all social media platforms displayed on the screen. I am Okoyemi Olubimi. Do have a great evening.